Hey guys, and welcome to another edition of Timmy Talks. Today we're in Goa, India, and we're visiting sites that we've not seen before. So come along, it'll be fun. I love when we first get into the area, we come to this Divar ferry boat, and it's so cool to see cars and scooters being brought from one part of Goa to another. I don't know the last time I saw a ferry boat doing that, so it's always kind of nostalgic and cool to see these things from the past. I love it. Just behind the ferry is the Viceroy Arch. It was created by Francisco Da Gama, who was the grandson of Vasco Da Gama, who was the first European to come to India to trade goods. And this was created in memory of his grandfather. And it is now considered a protected monument in the government of India, and it was recently restored. This is the tower of the Church of Saint Augustine. It's 46 meters high, and it was built in 1602 by the Augustine friars. And the building fell into neglect and fell apart in 1842 and 1931, but there are some cool ruins left of the church, and now it's become a protected site in Goa, so let's check it out. I mean, I know they're ruins and stuff, but it still looks cool. That's cool. It's like an old castle at the top, doesn't it? Little turrets. But can you imagine how the archways must have looked, and the facade, and all the way up at the top? Let's see. This is the Church of Saint Augustine in Old Goa. Well, so this is the interior, of the church. And can you imagine how beautiful it must have looked at the inside? And then they have these little side chapels, right? This one's the Chapel of St. William, and in the little niche there would have been a statue. Over here, close to the tower, it says Chapel of Our Lady of Good Success. Well, where'd she go? What happened? Chapel of St. John, very nice. Oh, look at, and they still have some burials inside the church here. Now, of course, they're all exposed, but this person, anno, let's see, 16, and then it's crossed out. 617 años. 1617. Wow. 1617? Is that true? I don't know. Yeah, I guess. 1618. These people were buried here before the Pilgrims hit the United States. Entry prohibited beyond this point. Altar of the Holy Crucifix. And that says Altar of Our Lady of Grace. And ooh, this has like some secret chamber underneath. Let's look at it. It's like it went down into a cellar. Can you see? Wow. That's cool. It has a musty smell. And is someone else buried here. Wow, can you imagine? Died 1644. So they've been entombed for quite a while. Another tomb. Oh, here's many. Wow. I think it's Latin because I can't make out. Vikas Fontero. I don't know. If anybody knows Latin, please put any of these down. Look at the tiles. Look at the tiles from the 1600s. How beautiful. That's lovely. I can imagine, you know, these old Goan churches, the other ones that I've shown are just beautiful inside. So I'm sure this was as decorated. Nomen digit armis. Look at the crest. This must be someone Portuguese. Wow. That's cool. Wow. Here's more of that tile. And most of the churches here, important people were buried in the church, and the whole floor here is covered with tombs. A lot of crests, so these were important family people. And I'm sure to be buried in the church, it was costly, you know, people who really put money towards the church. This says the main altar dedicated to Our Lady of Grace, so this would have been spectacular, spectacular. You can see the tiles. Let's see if I can zoom in and see the tiles. Oh, they're beautiful. That must have been the site. Plaster and tiles, all that. There's another tomb with the skull and crossbones. And these have just worn away, you know. Everything goes away, right? Lady of our altar of Our Lady of Sorrow. And look at, they have like the patterned ceiling. Beautiful. Coffered ceiling, I should say. And then here's another tomb. Wow, that's really neat looking. Let's see, and here's another little side niche, altar of St. Nicholas. And again, with the Portuguese tiles, they must have all been different patterns all the way up. Handmade, Portugal, what they were known for, trading all over the world. Oh, a convent. So here's where the nuns stayed. Convent here, and there's another altar. So this is like, that's an altar like for mass, so maybe the nuns did mass in here. And then can you see that? That looks cool. And there must have been a statue here, like a shell. And it had a track for running water, so maybe holy water or something came out. Very cool. This is, I guess this is part of the convent too, so, but there's some sort of a ossuary or something over here. Let's go check it out. It's sad that they have to put do not write on the wall, but you know, it's important. This is a historical site. And let's see what this little ossuary is. Ossuaries were generally for Jewish people. More of the convent. I mean, they must have had a lot of nuns and priests up in here. I think they should leave some of it like this and then reconstruct the rest. Wouldn't that be cool? That could be a nice project for the government of India to do for its Christian community. So let's wind up our time here. This has been really fascinating. In essence, it's kind of like a cemetery, but it's all this historical ruins, and I can only imagine how wonderful and elaborate it was, like the rest of these old churches in Old Goa. Just beautiful. So let's move on to the next place. Today we're looking at the Museum of Christian Art here in Old Goa. Come join me. I'm excited to be here. This is yet another place that I have never been to. This little niche is up on the hill right around the corner from the main church where you spend your time looking, the old Bom Jesus and Frances Xavier's body. And this is like a little hidden area that not a lot of people, I think, know about and don't come to very often. So I've been here 3 or 4 times and I've never seen this portion. So it's like, look, they've taken my idea of restoring the church to its former glory. So yeah, let's go check it out. Okay, wow, this altar has been restored. Wow, all the gold leaf on it. Mary sitting on top of the world with some angels below her feet. And look at the ceiling. It reminds me of the ruins that we just came from. This really must be what that other church looked like inside. Wow, so who are all these saints that they have here? There's Jesus at the top. That's spectacular. And then it's got to be Mary by his side, Mary Magdalene, John, and then Saint Monica in the middle, it says. They don't have a little sign here that says who they are. That's beautiful. Nice little chapel here. Oh, and then there's another Jesus on the other side. So let's see. Let's see what this says. It says the Church of Santa Monica, dedicated to Saint Mary. It has a nave and aisles joined to the monastery. It's blessed on the 19th of December, 1627. The church has 4 altars, and the middle altar is dedicated to Saint Monica. That's beautiful. That's lovely. Wow. 1627. Amazing. Look at this altar. Here is a confessional booth, original to the church. It's amazing that it's so ornate and so delicate, and it still survives today. It's just amazing. So it looks like they're still in progress of restoring it. The ceiling is so pretty. It's lovely. Look at this water font. Fill it with holy water. Nice. You can buy your wares. Okay, I wanted to see if that chapel on this side was open. Okay. Let's see what we have here. All right, maybe we can get tickets. Hello. How much are tickets?
100 rupees.
100 rupees, okay. Okay, so we got our tickets to go inside. I guess, oh, this is really the art piece. So very nice. Okay, Museum of Christian Art. Well, this is cool. They have one of those railing things. They have these in houses too if you can't go up to the second floor.
I haven't seen in like other places.
That's very nice. So if you're handicapped, you will be able to come here and look at all of the art. No, it's a small, it must be from the church that was destroyed behind us. All painted on wood. This is from the 17th century, and it says the Holy Martyrs of Morocco. And these are lovely little icons from the church. I don't understand the symbolism of the parrot. This must be Saint Monica. And the Holy Family. Yeah. Love this. It says the Lord of the Green Reed. Wow. That would look lovely in my religious collection. This is Ecce Homo. Ecce Beaten Man or something man. Different saints. And all wood. So old, this one. Yeah, they're all wood. And here's Mary and Jesus. That's lovely. I wish they would put how old these are. And this says Sanctum of the Cross, Christ on his way to Calvary. Again, all done on wood from the 1600s, 1500s. And look, they have like gold leaf around the head and around Mary. This one says Our Lady of Sorrows. And here's an old Calvary cross, 1600. The metal in it, metalwork. That's metalwork, it's not paint. So that's neat. And then it had maybe little jewels or something inside of it. And it's very pretty. That's lovely. This says Our Lady of Sorrows again. She's got a lot of daggers in her, so I'm not familiar with who this is. And it's like the Shroud of Turin she's holding. And of course, Shroud of Turin was known in the 1600s for sure, so that probably is depicting the Shroud of Turin. Here's the Angel of Gabriel, 1600s. Here's winged angels, and see how angels were depicted in the 1700s. So these are considered angels and made from wood. And here's Mary and Jesus. As you can see, he's holding the world. And it says Our Lady of the Rosary. And old angel sculptures from 1800. And there's Saint Joseph. Furniture during Portuguese rule. Very ornate, huh? Trying to show the grandeur of Portugal. And look at this beautiful original fresco. Hopefully we can go from down there and look at it. But it's neat that they took this space and made it into a museum. Look at this, is ivory. That's all ivory. Wow. That's a huge elephant tusk. I think these are all ivory. Made from ivory, which is Indian, and so thus they took flavors from the local culture. Maybe a local, he's got blue eyes. These crosses are beautiful. As someone who collects crucifixes, these are lovely. Ivory again, and wood. These are all ivory and wood. Look at this one. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Okay. And here is Saint Sebastian. That's a famous pose. I think he was shot with arrows or something, right? And here's some more ivory. Ivory statues. Mary. And then look at this, is like Mary depicted from like a Hindu perspective. Wow. Mixing culture, you know. Here's the Holy Family, baby Jesus. Look at that cross in ivory. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Little gold gilt on it. Michael the Archangel. And then there's a big ivory tusk with depictions of the church on it. And this is beautiful too. Altar of the crucifix. That's lovely. Okay. Well, let's go see the star of the museum, which is Jesus. Okay, so they have this little spiral staircase. Wow, that is amazing. How strikingly beautiful and sort of suspended there. It's very moving. Wow, very powerful. Okay, well, that was the upper level, so let's just check the ground level, see what they have here. It's again more ivory, and this is metalwork. That's probably Saint Xavier, whose body is located across the street, and a collection box. And these hang, of course, by the altar, all these tapestries. Tapestries with little statues integrated into them. Very nice. All handmade, of course. These are from the 1600s. And clothes from the priests. Obviously, picking up local, culture as well. Like the breadfruit leaves, pineapple, like lotus flowers. So, and there's like the eye of God amongst flowers. So yeah, definitely picking up on local tradition and plants and culture and incorporating it. Things that used to be on the walls. Here's another collection box. The angel watching over you as you put money into the coffer. This is cool. I don't know what's his story, but again, he looks a little like Garuda. So again, incorporating Indian culture into Christianity. This says it's just a monstrance, so this is considered a monstrance, and this is where there's a bone or hair or something from a saint. It's kept inside of it, so that's a painting from the 1600s as well. And here's another guard. Saint Ursula, again with the gold gilding. The light is showing it perfectly painted on wood. And this too is from the 15 to 1600s. So this is probably one of the oldest pieces that they have here. And here we are again. Monstrance. See, this is where you put saints' pieces, like bone or tubes. This is another monstrance. Wow, now that's a monstrance. Wow, we could put like an apostle's finger in there or something. Or the true cross of Jesus like they have in Rome. This is Saint Ursula again. And that looks very Portuguese to me. Wow. I hope you enjoyed the Museum of Christian Artifacts. So finally, we're on the grounds of the Basilica of Bom Jesus. So it was constructed between 1594 and 1605. And the inside is fantastic, and it actually has the body of Saint Frances Xavier. So let's go check it out. Wow, the outside of this church is so amazing. That red stone has gotten this beautiful patina over the years and all these beautiful carvings all over the outside of the building. I can only imagine when it was brand new what it really must have looked like, but it is preserved so nicely. Now the line is not long at all, and it is free to enter. All of these churches are free to enter. Now these columns kind of look familiar, right? The church that had the rubble in it had these similar columns. So this must be what that other church, looked like. It was very similar in style and architecture, but I think, 4 or 5 times as big. So at least we get a glimpse to see what that other church looked like. Now let's go in and see what's going on in here. Oh my gosh, right off the bat is this beautiful carving of a statue that was the size of a person, and these beautiful fixtures that are all around with these altars. It's just stunning. I can't believe how much gold leaf there is and how much carving and detail is in all of these churches. It must have taken years and years to put together. And I'm just so thankful that these things are still around for everybody to enjoy in perpetuity. These original tiles from the 1500 Portuguese tiles are still intact. Look at this altar. Oh my goodness. How beautiful. All wood, all gold leaf. Just amazing. Now, for some reason, they did not want videography in the church. And I've always gone there and been able to do that. But this time, I don't know, they just had issue with it. So maybe there was some issue or something. But the altars in here are just beautiful. And the thing that's most notable about this church is it houses the body of Saint Frances Xavier. And in case you don't know, Saint Frances Xavier is the person who helped really establish Christianity in India. Now, of course, we know Saint Thomas, the apostle, actually went to India, but Xavier actually helped, promote and baptize over 30,000. Now, in leaving the church, there was this very odd room. It had Adam and Eve there, and Noah's Ark, and the manger, and it was like a mix of all Christian stories all put together. So I don't know. I really don't know what this was. It, was very strange to me. So this is maintained by the Archaeological Survey of India. And they've taken all these old churches, taken them over and restored to some degree. I won't say restored, but they've maintained them. And they have put sidewalks in over the years that we have come here and improved it. I still think there's room for more, but we will see what time brings. The grounds here are just phenomenal. Look at those huge trees, just hundreds of years old. And, everything around here is just manicured and looks really good. Okay, here's Se Cathedral. Built in 1600. This is somewhat new. I remember we used to come here and there was dirt. So it's nice to see that they've made it better. There's Jesus and some angels and then Mary. And coming to the main altar, here is another burial And this one is more modern, 1975. So it must be the priest of the church. And look at this altar. Wow. How beautiful is this? You can see it's all wood and gold gilt. See if I can get closer. There's the apostles at the bottom, Jesus, stories of Jesus's life in the triptychs. And then at the top is Jesus on the cross and angels by his side. And a little balcony. This is where the priest sits. And here's the main altar. And wow, look at these chandeliers. They are really spectacular. I mean, how old are these? They look like they have been electrified from, you know, something much, much older. So pretty. And again, burials within the church. So, again, it has that musty, wow. Kind of smells like hay, horse hay, old. It must be restoring something, because it's like maybe it's lacquer or something. Wow, these are pretty. And again, more burials on the ground, and let's see, paintings, and here's Mary and Jesus. Oh, that's lovely. Wow. And even with this church, you can see the coffered ceiling. I just keep going back to that rubble ruined church and now get a better idea of what it actually looked like inside of that. Altars they have on this side. Mary and the apostles. The gold gilt. It's so pretty. It's a little light in here, and look at how much it shines. It's lovely. Look at all the carving here. This wood is amazing. You can tell that those angels are from the 1600s. It's the way they used to depict angels in those days. The cross of miracles. Ooh. Wow, look at that ceiling. It might have been closed the last time I was here. Okay, what's in the next room? That's lovely. Saint Bernard. And again, another tomb. And this one. But it's closed. I just had to show this statue of Jesus. I have made a lovely card out of this before. Taking a look back at the church. Now you can really get a nice idea of how the other church would have looked. Underneath is that red volcanic rock, plaster over it, and then granite or marble on the outside. So very typical of the time. I hope you enjoyed this edition of Timmy Talks. Thanks for visiting churches in Old Goa. And remember to like and subscribe. Thanks again. Bye now.